Good evening. This is September the 22nd, and welcome to the Avon Lake Council meeting. Mr. Shamir, would you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Mrs. Rossmarin, the roll call.
Mr. Arnold.
Here.
Mrs. Fenderbosh.
Here.
Ms. Gentry.
Here.
Mr. Koss.
Here.
Mr. Shamir.
Here.
Mr. Smith.
Here.
Mr. Zuber.
Here.
Mayor Spetzel.
Here.
Law Director Ebert.
Here.
Finance Director Crossie.
Here.
Public Works Director Liskovic.
Here.
Thank you. We have a full quorum, and everyone is in presence. The next is going to be the approval of the minutes from September the 8th. You've all had a chance to review them. Are there any comments? Corrections? Seeing none, they will stand as published. Thank you. Mrs. Rossmarin, any correspondence?
I don't have any correspondence to report.
Colleagues,
you.
any correspondence? Yes, Mr. Shamir.
I had a phone call from a resident on Brunswick Drive, which has had a number of issues with Airbnbs, specifically one this summer that had about 200 people at the Brunswick Airbnb that has been discussed before, with buses dropping people off and vehicles parked on both sides of the street. Just something that needs to be addressed, and I will be contacting the police chief to get the details, but I had that phone call just before coming into meeting. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing, sir. Anybody else? Seeing none, at this point, we're going to open up a public hearing, and it's upon the designation of the red aircraft warning beacon formerly mounted atop the Avon Lake Power Plant smokestack as a historic landmark. Mr. Smith.
Thank you. This is a matter that came from the Planning Commission. At this point, I'll turn it over to Mr. Kaz, as he's the council representative to the Avon Lake Historical Society.
Mr. Kaz.
Thank you, Mr. Smith, and thank you, Madam President. The item that we have on us is the dedication of the beacon that sits in front of us. And we have Mr. Tony Tomanek, who is the owner of this through the Avon Lake Historical Society. And he's going to give a presentation on why that light merits landmark status in the city of Avon Lake. And I think by the end of it, you'll see what all of us have seen in the reasons that it is up for consideration. Also here tonight is Mrs. Bobby Rudge, and she is the president of the Avon Lake Historical Preservation Commission, and she's going to have some comments as well, too, about the work that the commission did to bring this forward tonight. So I would like to ask Mr. Tomanek to come forward.
Mr. Tomanek, come forward so that the public knows what the process will be. There will be presentations, and then it will be turned over to council to ask questions, and then it's going to go out to the public. Okay?
Oh, I didn't know.
Go right ahead. Our comments, Mr. Tomanek.
Good evening, Council President, Mayor, council members, residents. I'm here tonight to speak about an important piece of our community's history, a stacked beacon light from the Avon Lake Power Plant, Units 6 and 7. The Avon Lake Power Plant was built nearly a century ago between 1925 and 26 by the Cleveland Electric Illuminating Company. At the time, it was the largest power plant of its kind in the world. For decades, its tall smokestacks defined our skyline and served as a landmark on the Lake Erie shoreline. Many of us grew up seeing those stacks as a symbol of home, industry, and progress. The plant was decommissioned in 2021, and much of it has since been demolished. But before that chapter closed, one of the many artifacts that was saved, the red beacon light that once sat atop the smokestack. This beacon was installed in 1975 to comply with aviation safety standards. At more than 500 feet in the air, it warned pilots of the towering stacks. The beacon was a Krauss-Heinz FCB-12, weighing nearly 80 pounds and containing two powerful 620-watt bulbs. They're not in there now, just so you know. It was one of a dozen lights encircling the stack, and it stayed in continuous service for 45 years until 2020, when new LED lights replaced it. To us, though, The beacon was more than just a safety light. It was a symbol of a plant's operation and its presence in our skyline whenever that red light glowed. It reminded us that the plant was still working, still fueling homes and businesses, still serving as a major economic force in Avon Lake and the entire region. What makes this artifact even more meaningful is its rarity. Today, only 2 of these original beacons remain in existence. One is privately owned and the other is here. Preserved by our city, our historical society, and our preservation commission. That makes it not just a piece of equipment, but a truly rare and valuable connection to our community's industrial heritage. While the beacon was not part of the plant's earliest years, it's a significant object from the plant's modern era, a period that spanned nearly half of its life. It also one of the last surviving physical elements we have following the demolition. Saving it gives us tangible link to our past, a chance to remember the generations who worked at the plant, and the families and livelihoods depended on it, and the role it played in making Avon Lake what it is today. As we look ahead into the future, we know our community will continue to grow and change. But preserving artifacts like this beacon ensures that our history will not be forgotten. It reminds us that Avon Lake is a place of hard work, innovation, and resilience. On behalf of the Avon Lake Historical Society, the Preservation Commission, and all of those who value our history, I want to thank the City of Avon Lake for recognizing the importance of this artifact. By preserving it, we are honoring not just a piece of equipment, but an entire chapter of our community's story. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Cos.
Yeah, I'd like to ask Mrs. Rudge to come forward as well, too, on behalf of the Historical Preservation Commission.
Thank you. He took half of it. Because I was going to say the same thing. But I am Bobby Rudge, by the way, chair of the Avon Lake Historical Preservation Commission. The warning beacon was our first plant artifact chosen, mainly because it's very important to most of us. And for years, Avon Lake residents, surrounding neighbors, and especially boaters on the lake, and I'll speak to that one, have viewed these flashing beacons as a touchstone landmark. I can say as a boater, we, late at night, not always in good weather, we'd come in from the west or in from the northwest. When we saw the lights, we knew we were close to home. So I'm very fond of this boat, not the boat. I'm fond of that too, fond of that light. The Avon Lake Historical Preservation Commission thanks and acknowledges the efforts of Dan Regato, manager of the power plant, the Avon Lake Historical Society, and the Avon Lake Public Library for their diligence in saving and preserving the artifacts, as well as the council. We support and urge the historical designation of this beacon light.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tony.
Mr. Cos, anyone else?
Yeah, thank you very much. I think that I have a couple of comments, and then we can leave it up to council members or the public when it's their opportunity. But I think Tony and Bobby said it really well. This is, in and of itself, you may not think that a light like that, with a historic designation, but when you know the history of that light and the story that that light tells in our history, it's truly is an important piece of our history. And I think the best word that I heard from both of them was, that was the light that called us home. You always knew when you were flying in or you're boating in or even driving in a lake road, when you're following those lights, you know you were getting close to home. It symbolized home. So we have dedicated, I think 13 or 14 properties in Avon Lake. Most of them are private homes. We have a few public city-owned properties like the Folger home, Peter Miller, and the cemetery. We designated one other object, which is the baggage car, a few years ago. So this will be our second object that we have hopefully designated. And it is a true important piece of our history. And we are looking to save as much as we can from the Avon Lake Power Plant. And we did a tremendous job. There was a group of residents and non-residents that came together to help preserve and save as much of the power plant as we could. And I want to acknowledge their efforts. Tony Tomanek, Dan Regato, who is not here, Chuck Fry, who is in attendance, Matt Sarver, who is in attendance, Bobby Rudge, and myself. And I hope I didn't leave anybody out. That was about it, I think. Yes. This group of residents came together. Oh, yes, I did leave somebody out. Mr. William Rutger, who was the director of the Avon Lake Public Library, who was so helpful and such an influence in this, in that he went all out to basically have room, space available set aside for the preservation of these objects, and also to allow the public to see them in the future. And even though Mr. Rutger left 2 weeks ago, Sybil Wendling, who is in attendance right now, she is the acting director, and she's going to pick up the legacy on this that William left. And we hope to have this item and many others on display at the Avon Lake Public Library for the community to enjoy. So this was a tremendous group effort between all of these organizations, the Historical Preservation Commission, which is seated in the back row. I want to thank Sandy, Diane, Tom, Bobby, and Cheryl is not here, Cheryl Lister, but I want to thank her as well too. So everyone came together, and we're looking to save as much of our history as we can. And I hope now, after hearing the two different presentations, you can see why that light is so important to the city of Avon Lake.
Thank you, Mr. Cos. I'm going to toss it back down to Mr. Smith. It's coming out of your committee.
Yeah, thank you. I encourage council to vote on this. I think that beyond what they've all said, you think of, we're all Avon Lake residents. We all, I'm sure, know people who worked at the plant. I can think of several myself who worked there and, worked to make sure that electricity was served and served to the entire area in the plant. And it's an important artifact for us to remember. And for the most part, I think it's all pretty good. We'll remember about that power plant. Thank you.
Colleagues, anyone else want to speak at this time on this topic? Mr. Zuber? Do you want to speak on this topic? Anybody else? Well, I'm going to say something. I think that it's fantastic. There's only 2 left, and we have 1 here. And not only that, but look at the good shape it's in. It's in fabulous shape, and it's lighting up. I know that those who are watching this from home, I've been told that there's a red glow on all of us. And when they unplug it, we will return back to our normal lighting. But it definitely is a beacon to come home to. And who knows, that might become the new logo, part of the logo that we might be discovering here in the city of Avon Lake. Do you have a permanent home for it? I know right now it's at the library. Is there some other discussions?
It will be at the library until we do have a permanent home. We're hoping it'll go in our museum.
Okay.
When and if we get it.
Perfect. Okay, thank you. At this point in time, Mr. Smith, we're going to open it up to the public. If there's anybody from the public that would like to have a comment on this topic, don't be shy. We actually have a pretty full house here tonight. This is wonderful. Anyone from the Historic Preservation Commission that would like to say something? I've never heard you be quiet before, really. I know you all. Okay, very good. Then at this point in time, Mr. Smith, are you ready we can close the hearing?
Yes, Madam President.
The hearing is now closed. We've moved now on into public input. Members of the audience shall be permitted to speak once, up to 5 minutes on any topic per our code ordinance section number 220.21A1.
Thank you.
And we're going to give our friends a moment to exit, and then we will continue on with our meeting with public input. Thank you for coming, everyone. All right, anybody now wants to come forward?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Gerald Phillips, Avon Lake resident, 20 years. certified public accountant. Concerned citizen of Avon Lake, for all those citizens watching tonight, I think you should watch the ALC-TV programs because Mr. Zimmerman and I put on a two-part presentation about Clearwater. And I think everybody in the city of Avon Lake needs to watch those two programs so they know what's at risk with this so-called regionalization of our crown jewel, our water and sewer department. Now, I asked and I made a public records request because I looked at the CAFRA, Certified Annual Financial Report, for the year 2023. And I noticed a number on there that caused me great concern. It's called intergovernmental receivable. And I said, that's strange because you can't commingle general funds with the sewer funds because they're business funds. That's illegal. That's what they did in Lorraine and they got caught because I got a lawsuit against them. So I made a public records request. I got a response which was totally non-responsive, just basically told me to go look at the CAFRA, which I did. So fortunately, I inquired further. Bill Logan was very fortunate to tell me what that is. Now, at the end of 2023, it was over $11 million. Now, it's at the point of $14 million. So it grew $3 million in a year and a half. And you know what that is? That's a receivable from LARCO. They owe the sewer $14 million as I sit here today. And that'll go away with Clearwater. What a ripoff. That's a ripoff. That's why I asked about it. I didn't get an answer. I had to get it from Bill Logan. Second concept, Mr. Shamir, about the purchase price, $74 million. He was, I believe, asking about net present value. And if you know what the rule of 72 is, money doubles at 7% every 10 years. So if they buy that property in 20 years and they exercise that option, basically you divide 74 by 4. The present value of that $74 million is $18.5 million. You got to look at the present value of that option. We're giving away $100 million of assets based on book value as of December of 23. We don't have the 24 numbers, although I probably could get them. If I ask, I get the unaudited ones. But from my perspective, that's a bad deal. Now, if you look at the feasibility numbers, which I mentioned, they're projecting a 5% increase. In their first 5 years, I indicated that they averaged between $500,000 to $600,000. So for 5 years, we're looking at, if it's $600,000, maybe $3 million, okay? $3 million cash flow. For the CAFRA for 2023, it's 2.9. The sewer department is generating what they take 5 years to do in. 5 years. And we talk about economies of scale, okay, that we're going to get 1,603 customers from LARCO. What we're getting is 1,603 customers who don't pay their bills. Don't pay their bills. I'm shocked that I am subsidizing LARCO with my rates. That's $14 million. You take that off of their financial statement of their current assets, and that's a problem. Their working capital ratio goes down significantly because of that receivable. Did you know about it? Did anybody bring it up? Did the commissioners? Did LARCO? I think that's deception. I, a CPA, a resident, has to dig and get that information to make sure you guys make the right decision. Now, you don't like me coming up there, but you know what? I'm going to make sure this city is run fiscally responsible. Thank you.
Thank you for coming forward. Anybody else want to come up for public input on any topic? You have 5 minutes.
William Zimmerman, concerned citizen. We made a new show the other day. Hopefully you citizens of Avon Lake will all tune in and watch. It's about the 6119 that they want to take Avon Lake Regional Water and combine it with Lorco and commissioners and change the way it's all done. Somehow bailing out Lorco with the amount of money that Mr. Phillips had said, millions and millions of dollars. But I'm here to talk about a different topic. And that's about the lack of transparency again by our administration. I've made public records requests repeatedly about Mr. Betza, our fire chief. He's on administrative leave. Mayor put him on it. Mayor has that right. So I was at the safety meeting the other night. I asked the mayor, did you do it as the safety director or as the mayor? He told me the mayor. Well, in section 19A of our charter, it says such suspension must be in writing with the cause for and the reason of the action clearly appearing within, as well as the period during which the suspension shall remain in effect. I've asked for those facts. I have not received them. It's been several weeks. He's been on suspension since the 15th. I brought this up probably 10 days after that. 15th of August, by the way. I'm sorry, not September. Mrs. Fenderbosch was kind enough to say, oh, hey, they sent you stuff today at 5:47. End of the business day. I was here for the 6 o'clock meeting that Mr. Schmier runs. I haven't had time to review any of the stuff. But they think that's a timely fashion. I know the Elyria Chronicle published a little blurb about the fact that he was on suspension. They're making requests and not getting them. It's what Mr. Perrin tells me. The problem is, this is continually happening. I don't understand why I can't get simple information as to what the reasons and the cause was. I was on the phone with Mr. Ebert on Friday, and we had this conversation. I told him 19A says that I should be able to get this information. Why am I not getting it still? Then they jerk me around and say, oh, somebody's on vacation, they're not going to be here today. I don't know, we'll get something to you. Well, when I was at the big truck event, I had an opportunity to speak with many of the firefighters and the people wearing the white shirts. They're all the administrators, or the captain, or the chief, the assistant chief, because the chief wasn't there. He wasn't allowed to attend as part of his suspension. In my conversations with them, they all seem to understand nothing about why I can't get information as well. They're in the dark as much as I am. So my real question is about the leadership here in our mayoral position. Because unbeknownst to some of you, we're trying to remove the mayor. And we're in court. We just got a new notice that tells us we'll have oral arguments the first week of November. So we're going forward still with it. Because he's as corrupt as it gets. I don't think anybody in this panel is as corrupt as he is, except maybe his law director, who also has worked with him for well over 20 years. Thick as thieves, the two of them.
Sir, please direct your
I'm still
comments to
going-
the issues before council.
I'm talking
Personal
about
insults-
anything that I can.
Sir, insults
I'm talking
or
about
decorous
anything
language
that I can
is
or
not
so that I
permitted.
want.
You may continue
Your
with
petty
your
little
comments
laws in
relate
this city
to
do not
city
business.
prevent
Me from talking and speaking my mind. My First Amendment right allows me to speak my mind. I am doing so.
In the
Please
chamber,
don't interrupt
we have our
me.
own rules,
No,
sir.
you don't. This is not
your
my
remarks are out
First
of order.
Amendment rights.
Your
These are
remaining
my
speaking
First
time is
Amendment
now
rights.
forfeited.
You need to make sure
Thank
that
you.
follow them. Because now I'll sue you for not allowing me to speak.
Get in line. Okay, thank you.
Get in line. Really?
Okay,
You got a long list of them?
so we are going to have some reality brought forward. Mr. Mayor, is there something that you would like to share that this is not a suspension?
I'm going to address that in my report. If you want me to start my report, I can.
Not
do
your
that now.
report, but if you could just address this part right here, please,
Specifically, what would you like me to address?
to his comments about it's not a suspension.
So Fire Chief Betza is on a paid administrative leave. It is not a suspension. And I can elaborate more during
Thank
my
you.
report.
Thank you. That's what I wanted for the facts. Thank you very much. Okay, at this point, we have public input for anyone else?
Madam
Yes.
President, yeah, we got to see if anyone else is.
I know, I'm
wants
just
to-
going to
okay,
that.
all right, thank you.
At this point, is there anybody else that would like to come forward on any topic for 5 minutes? Okay, seeing none, I'm going to ask council for a general consent to move resolution number 25-153 that is on a first reading near the back of our agenda to this point in time because our special guests are here and they have other councils that they need to go to. Do I have general consent to move this resolution 25-153? Anybody objecting? Okay, I see no one objecting, so by general consent, we will move it forward. Thank you. I move for suspension of the rule requiring 3 readings regarding resolution number 25-153. Would you like to read the title, please? Thank you.
A resolution to promote awareness and education about sudden unexpected death in epilepsy, SUDEP, and to observe SUDEP Awareness Act on October 26, 2025.
Thank you. I move for suspension of the rule requiring 3 readings. Mrs. Ross Marin?
Mr. Shamir?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Zuber?
Yes.
Mr. Arnold?
Yes.
Mrs. Fenderbosh?
Yes.
Ms. Gentry?
Yes.
Mr. Koss.
Yes.
Thank you. I move for passage of resolution number 25-153. And in discussion, I want to start with that we have in our presence, which I'm going to be asking them to speak in just a minute, the Honorable Lou Rochard from Olmsted Falls and his lovely wife. I'm sorry, from North Olmsted and his lovely wife. And he contacted 34 of our council presidents across Northeast Ohio regarding the sudden unexpected death of epilepsy. Epilepsy is a neurological condition that affects approximately 3.4 million Americans, including an estimated 140,000 Ohioans, and impacts individuals and families across our community. Sudden unexpected death in epilepsy, also known as SUDEP, is a leading cause of mortality in people with epilepsy, accounting for approximately 1 in 1,000 deaths annually among those living with the condition. It remains limited among patients, families, and even healthcare providers, the awareness, resulting in many individuals being uninformed about their risk and the steps that may help reduce that risk. And it has been noted that there are ways that one can, once they're informed, help to prevent those measures. The state of Ohio has been an important action through the passage of House Bill 229, the Breanna Brassard SUDEP Awareness Act, requiring healthcare practitioners to share information on SUDEP with patients diagnosed with epilepsy. October the 26th is recognized internationally as the Action Day to honor their lives. the lives that have been lost, support the families, and raise awareness across communities. When a patient is properly informed about SUDEP, they can take steps to mitigate the risk of it occurring, including taking anti-epileptic medications as prescribed, prioritizing sleep, maintaining regular doctor visits, avoiding alcohol and recreational drugs, identifying and avoiding seizure triggers, and utilizing seizure detection and alert devices. Today, Avon Lake has the opportunity to be one of multiple communities in Northeast Ohio to declare October the 25th as SUDEP, which is Sudden Unexpected Death of Epilepsy Month, and to increase the awareness. By doing such, and through this passage, this resolution shall be in full force and effect from and immediately after its passage and approval by the mayor. Do we have any further discussion from any of my colleagues? At this point in time, I'm going to ask the family if they have any comments that they would like to make. Come on forward. Just identify yourself and present.
Thank you. Thank you. Honorable Madam President, Mayor, members of the administration, and the distinguished members of council. I also sit in your seat. I am the council president in North Olmsted, and I've been a member of council in North Olmsted for going on 18 years. So I really welcome this opportunity to bring this topic before you, and hopefully the other remaining 33 communities that I reached out to recently. If it's okay, I want to tell you a little bit about our family's epilepsy journey. There is no history of epilepsy on my side of the family and my wife Joni's side of the family. Yet at any point, at some point, all three of our kids either have or had epilepsy. We're still trying to figure out how that happened, and doctors have told us it's such a rare event. But at any rate, our daughter Brenna was living with epilepsy since 2012, when she was nearly 16 years old. That's when she had her first seizure. And for the most part, seizure medications prevent seizures from happening, and you can live a very normal and fulfilling life. And that's exactly what was happening with Brenna. She was living in Lakewood. She was 25 years old. She was living in Lakewood in a duplex with two of her very best friends on the ground floor, and their bedrooms were situated side by side by side. Then on January 30th, 2022, we got a panicked phone call from one of Brenna's roommates that Brenna was unresponsive. So we made the 20-minute drive to Lakewood in about 10 minutes, and when we got there, she was gone. And so, we went through the funeral planning process, and then at some point, we agreed that we wanted people to make donations in lieu of flowers. So I asked my son to just do a quick Google search, and I said, Google epilepsy associations in Cleveland, Ohio. And the first one that came up was the Epilepsy Association of Cleveland. So we put that in the obituary, and then a week after the funeral ended, we got a phone call from the Epilepsy Association of Cleveland indicating, we have received over $30,000 in donations in your daughter's memory. We'd like to meet you. We'd like you to come down to our headquarters and see what we're all about. So we did. And so it was my wife, myself, and our daughter Devin that went. And one of the very first things out of the director of the Epilepsy Association, one of the very first things that she asked was it SUDEP? And we looked at each other. We said, what's that? And I want to give you some backstory. So our son Nick started epilepsy when he was 4 years old in 1996. So when Brenna passed in 2022, we've been seeing neurologists and epileptologists, which are specialists in, for 26 years. So by my rough count, we had probably at least 50 to 60 doctor visits with specialists of epilepsy. And not once during those 26 years of doctor visits were we ever informed about SUDEP. By the way, do I have a time limit? Okay, all right. In North Olmsted, we have 5 minutes.
Well,
And
you are our guest,
Okay.
and so as a guest, you're a consultant, we're
Right.
asking you.
I promise not to run on. So 26 years of doctor visits, and not once were we ever informed about this thing called SUDEP. And the thing about SUDEP, as you read in the body of the resolution, is that if you're made aware of it, there are certain things that you can do to mitigate the risk of it occurring. And one of those things that you can do is you can wear a seizure detection and alert device. It looks very similar to an Apple Watch. You wear it to bed. It's a very sophisticated device, though. It knows the difference between normal tossing and turning and seizure activity. So, I try not to live in a world of what if, but what if just one of those doctors had informed us about SUDEP? Because if they had, I guarantee you our daughter would have been wearing that watch. And instead of her 2 roommates sleeping through her death in the middle of the night, perhaps that seizure detection device would have alerted her roommates. It would have woke them up. The app calls their cell phones, and they could have performed life-saving measures. We'll never know. But at any rate, once we found out about this thing called SUDEP, we were determined to turn our grief into action. And it kind of takes the edge off of the grief, but more importantly, knowledge is power. And knowing about SUDEP, you're automatically armed and you will do the things that are within your power to ensure that it doesn't happen to you. So this is kind of what we're doing now with reaching out to all the local Northeast Ohio council presidents and mayors. We're trying to do a coordinated effort in just bringing this awareness because most neurologists and epileptologists, and when I say most, about 70%, they choose not to inform patients about SUDEP. And it's because they consider it to be a rare event. They don't want to unnecessarily burden or worry the families of epilepsy patients. But, I disagree with that stance. So if the doctors aren't going to inform, then certainly organizations like the Epilepsy Association and some other national organizations that we do a lot of work for, we're going to take it upon ourselves to inform as many people as we can. 1 in 26 people will develop epilepsy at some point in their lifetime. As a matter of fact, once you hit the age of 55, you're more likely to develop epilepsy than as a toddler or an infant. It's very strange. So that's why it's important for everybody to be aware of SUDEP and the risk factors and what you can do to mitigate it from happening. Thank you so much. We feel like we have new friends here in Avon Lake. You've been so gracious in having us, and Jennifer, you in particular, the compassion and the empathy that you've shown has been remarkable. So thank you to all. I appreciate it.
Thank you for being a spokesman and for helping others because education is powerful. It really is. Okay, anybody else? Okay, we're at the time now. We're going to have a vote.
Mr. Shamir,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Zuber,
Yes.
Mr. Arnold,
Yes.
Mrs. Fenderbosh.
Yes.
Ms. Gentry.
Yes.
Mr. Cos.
Yes.
Thank you. It has passed. This will go on to the agencies. You will also be receiving a copy of it. And the state of Ohio, you worked with the House of Representatives and the Senate. So we will send it to our local senator and House of Representative. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am, for coming. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, now we're going to move on to our regular business in the order. First, we have the mayor's report.
Thank you, Council President Fenderbosh. A few things, updates on projects. Both the Alps and Walker Road rehabilitation are progressing on schedule. I'm going to let Public Works Director Liskovic add some details to that during his report. Our Big Trucks was held Saturday. It was a beautiful event. Hundreds and hundreds, maybe thousands of people attended. It was so great to see so many families enjoying the day and get a glimpse of our services and the tools that we utilize to provide those. Again, wonderful community event, brought everybody together. I want to thank all the groups that provided tables of information and giveaways, including our council. They had a great presentation there. Our fire and police departments for hosting, our public works department for all the equipment they provided, and our rec department for organizing. Everyone worked together to make this another wonderful success for Big Trucks, one of our most popular events. I also want to do a little shout out to Avon Lake Regional Water. They were recognized by the Ohio Department of Natural Resources, the Division of Water Resources, for water sustainability. They received an Ohio Water Conservation Excellence Award for innovation and dedication to responsible water use. So I want to congratulate the board and Rob Monroe on this achievement. They were recognized for installing a large-scale wash water recycling system at the water filtration plant, which has saved over 1.9 billion gallons of Lake Erie water since 2016. So kudos to them for that achievement. Upcoming events, Boo by the Woods. I know Mr. Koss will be speaking to this, but just a reminder, October 9th, October 11th, and he'll provide you those details, I'm sure. This Saturday, September 27th at 10:30 is our homecoming parade. If you haven't joined and you want, we're at the deadline, so get your registration in if you want to be a part of that parade. Immediately following that, we have a free Fall Fest event that will go from immediately after the event till 1 o'clock. We have pumpkin decorating, family photos, games, horse-drawn wagon rides, prizes, climbing wall, face painting, antique photo ops, food, raffles, and more. This is sponsored by Kiwanis, and again, another one of our popular events for our families. Now I'd like to address an incident, and I'm going to let Councilman Shamir respond a little bit too during his report, if that's okay. But on Tuesday, September 16th, we had an accidental discharge reported by Lubrizol Corporation. The discharge of a diluted product entered our storm system and exited at the outfall into Powdermaker Creek at the Lake Road culvert. While the events are these are responsibility of the company, of course, our Public Works Department promptly assisted in the recovery and mitigating of this release. Lubrizol contacted private companies who then took over the cleanup operations. Lubrizol followed their protocol, notifying the Ohio EPA and notifying the National Response Center. That triggers automatically responses from the Ohio EPA and the Coast Guard, both of which who were out on the scene at least 2 times that I'm aware of. So we're not anticipating any risk to our residents, but we are working collaboratively with Lubrizol and EPA, and we will report out additional information as it becomes available. And I know Councilman Shamir will be addressing this during his report, so thank you for doing that. Lastly, I wanted to address the information in the media and discuss in these public meetings regarding the paid administrative leave of Fire Chief Jeremy Betza. Mr. Zimmerman mentioned this, and of course, he had some wrong information that he presented. So I'm just going to read a release that we have relative to that topic to make everybody aware of what's happening. So on Friday, August 15th, 2025, Fire Chief Jeremy Betza was placed on paid administrative leave. This action was taken in the best interest of both Chief Betza and the Avon Lake Fire Department while we continue to review concerns brought to the attention of the city administration. During this period, Assistant Chief Steve Peter will serve as acting fire chief and will oversee all administrative functions of the department. The city remains committed to ensuring that the fire department operations continue without interruption and that the high standard of service provided to the community is maintained. We also want to clarify that the current paid administrative leave is indirectly associated with grievances filed by the International Association of Firefighters Local 1361 against Fire Chief Betza. Investigation into these grievances resulted in the discipline of Fire Chief Betza. This discipline is under appeal before the Civil Service Commission, and we will not be able to provide further comment until the commission has completed its review and issued a decision. As this is a personnel matter, the city will respect the privacy of all individuals involved. No further details regarding the paid administrative leave are available to release at this time. However, once these matters have been completely adjudicated, we will provide additional public statements. And that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Any comments for the mayor? Seeing none, we're now going to go on to the council president's report. The next CCM is going to be October the 6th at 7 p.m. in these chambers. The next council meeting will be October the 13th. I'm sorry, October the 14th, because it's going to be Columbus Day. That'll be Tuesday at 7 p.m. I would like to remind all that are on council and also the candidates, I know it's far out, but people are making plans for the holidays, that the organizational meeting in January, according to our charter, is slated for January the 2nd, and it is at 7:30 p.m., not 7 p.m. Again, mark down January the 2nd, 7:30 in the chambers. That is a Friday. It's not even a Monday, it's a Friday. And as the mayor mentioned, there was Fall Fest. Council did have a booth at the big trucks, and it was the largest big trucks I know I've ever attended. I want to give kudos out to everybody that was involved with it. They did such a great job. Council members, just quickly, I'm going to remind you all to return in response to about the questionnaire back to Valerie. If you can, by Wednesday at 4 p.m. We're going to be putting together some concepts and ideas from those questionnaires regarding your committees and your assignments. You might want to move some of the tasks around to some other committees. And then the boards and commissions, take the information from the work session that we had back to your committees. I know Mr. Shamir's doing that with his. I'm doing that with mine, and please take it back so that we can try to stagger the terms and the length of the terms, make them make sense. Some are very long, some are very short. And also, we're going to try to balance that mix between the appointed that are from council and from the mayoral. So the process will be go back to your boards and commissions and then bring it to your committee and work with the law director on new language and then bring it up to the CCM so that we can try to implement it at the end of October. If we can get it done, that would be great. That'll help the others. Are there any questions for Council President? Okay, moving right along, we're going to go down to the the law director.
No report this evening, Mr. President.
Thank you. Finance director.
I have no report this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Public Works director. We do have a few things.
Just a couple items tonight. As the mayor had mentioned, a couple other items related to the Alps project. Since the last update, the electrical and lighting for the area lighting for the project that was part of it, that's been installed and is functioning. I saw actually an early morning photo from the contractor of it active when they had completed the wiring for that. Their next big component is the shade structures to be installed. They're working through particulars on footings and stuff like that regarding that, and that'll be probably the next big impactful thing we see going on there. With that, they're still moving along at a good clip, and keeping track of where their schedule's at. Next on just a couple other things on Walker Road, the pavement rehabilitation. So last week the current work zone lane was milled in preparation to the widening of that lane for the inclusion of bike lanes. That work will continue on, and then near the beginning of October, at some point in time, we are going to have a work zone flip, where they'll flip flop the work zone with the travel lane. But as we get closer to that, we'll get more information on specific dates when that occurs. But that's where we are with that project. And then again, the mayor covered some on the environmental discharge, and I know Mr. Mayor will cover some additional stuff. But I have whatever else you may need at that point, if needed.
Anybody have any questions for Mr. Liskovec? Mr. Cos?
Yeah, thank you. Not a question as much as an omission that I made. When we were talking during the public hearing with regards to saving of the artifacts and pieces of the Avon Lake Power Plant, I forgot to mention the work of John Liskovec and his team over at Public Works Department. Without them being able to move a lot of these items, we wouldn't have them. So I failed to mention it then, but John, I want to let you know that it's truly appreciated by all those organizations and the community, the work that you guys did to help get us those very big and very heavy things out of there. We appreciate it.
I'm glad to be able to help.
Right, and I'm going to jump on what you just said. The trees that came out of the landscaping that were very specialty type of trees that would not have survived what they were going to be doing. Mr. Liskovec and his team took them over to the Peter Miller House, and they're all surviving. This is a good thing. Mr. Zuber, you had your hand up.
Yeah, just Mr. Liskovec, if you could take a look at Avon Point. It's the south part of Avon Point. I've gotten a couple text messages on chuck holes that are in the road there, and I'll try and get some more detail on addresses and things for you, but from what I'm hearing from them, there's several areas on that street that need to be filled with some tar.
Sure, we'll take a look at it. Obviously, addresses are more helpful, but we'll definitely take a look at the area in general.
Thank you. Any further questions for Mr. Liskovec? Okay. Oh, yes, sir, Mr. Shamir.
Just as a follow-up, on Brunswick Road, the filter fabric is still covering some of those stormwater inlets. So before we do get any flooding in the next few days, I would recommend to remove those by the contractor. Thank you.
Fair enough, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, anybody else? All right, seeing none, we're going to go on to our standing committees. I want to remind members of council, if you have anything that's on tonight's agenda for suspension of the rule, now's the time to explain why you need to have a vote for suspension of the rule. We're going to begin with building and utilities. Ms. Gentry.
Yes, we have one item on that was moved to the committee from building and utilities. It's the purchase of a new HVAC system for the safety center. This one we will be requesting suspension of the rules as emergency. And I'll pass it on to Mr. Liskovec to give details of that.
Sure. So we became aware earlier this season that there's a unit that was that had failed a performance job. So we went through the process of diagnostics. I made a determination that replacement would be a more advantageous approach versus repair on a 20-plus year unit. So we've got a proposal from Gardner using Equalis cooperative purchasing program for the supply and installation of the new unit. With that is going to come also an upgrade to part of the automation controls that work in that building that are necessary for the function of that. And looking to obviously get this moved along so that we can get this resolved and the old one out and the new one in and things back to normal working order.
Okay.
Thank
So
you. Anything else?
They currently do not have any air conditioning at all, so there's no AC or heat. So that's part of the reason for the emergency. So,
Thank you.
Continuing on, First Energy came to our meeting and gave us an update on their Ward 3 and 4 energy update. So they have replaced all of the posts that they were intending to on electric. That work was complete at the end of May. They also completed the work on Shoreman Park and Centennial. They're starting to work on rear lots of Morewood, Parkwood, and Beechwood. There'll be 62 poles that are being replaced there. And then they have some additional poles that they'll be replacing next year. So that they're slated to complete that project in 2027. And that was it for First Energy. In addition to that, we also discussed a registration for HOA and property management to go to the CCM, and then also there was a motion to support Public Works for a plan of action by October 6th to address mold issues that were found in the city hall basement. So Mr. Shamir, if you would like to discuss that.
Mr. Shamir,
May I get the overhead, please?
just a moment. Give us just a moment.
Thank you. Basically, what we have is on September 11th, Council President Fenderbosh and myself, we ended up going into the basement looking for some files, and we encountered a number of issues which are outlined in this risk matrix: water leaks, mold, and then water intrusion and electrical panels. So it's been categorized as critical, medium, and corrective action's been identified. So when we went through, what we realized is there's considerable amount of leakage, which has led to mold growth in the basement, which requires attention. First, an assessment, and then remedial action. And what I've done is I've identified the standards under OSHA as well as the standards under what is called the Public Employment Risk Reduction Program, which applies to municipalities. Just quickly going through it, these are some of the stuff that we encountered. And going into the basement, I can tell you that breathing was difficult. And for myself, until the next day, I was a bit wheezy, and I don't have any respiratory issues. So these are the things that were identified. What you see here is an electrical panel with a bucket which is collecting water at the base of it, which is fire hazard and electrocution hazard. So this is the condition, and it requires action. I mean, the action and the reason I went through and just put a rough cursory risk hazard assessment was what needs to be addressed quickly. But recommendation is to get a third-party auditor in here to go through, identify the risks, come up with a mitigation plan, and deal with the issue. But what you do see is effervescence on the concrete, and that is something that has occurred over many years. It's not something that occurred last week, last year. It's been going on for a while. And with these, you've got conduit panels and conduit cables where the leak is actually occurring. And then there were some housekeeping issues, equipment on the floor, which could be impacted by potential flooding, even though that the equipment is slated for sale. It is equipment that is out there. So as a approach, we put in a 30-day, a 90-day, a year, and a 5-year recommendation. And this should go to an asset management program. An asset management program is critical for budgeting, understanding your issues, understanding low-hanging fruits, high risk, and then issues that you can actually deal with over time, allowing for a correct budgetary system that can be applied and dealt with. And I understand, I mean, this is not something that this administration has led to, but at the end of the day, it is something that impacts those that may wander downstairs or the general environment within the building, or the potential, raise the potential for fire or execution hazard. Electrocution. Well, exactly. So fundamentally, this was put out, and I know that the mayor and Director Liskovic are now dealing with these issues, and they had already, from what I understand, other plans that they were implementing. But critical issues typically need to be prioritized as a suspension of the rule and brought forth to deal with because it is an health, safety, critical issue. Thank you. Can answer any questions or comments. Thank you.
Ms. Gentry, is there anything else from your committee?
No, that was all.
I believe that there's some comments that fellow councilmen want to make.
I just have a question
Mr. Zuber.
on the Gardner. That purchase is $41,000. Is there a reason that we have to have legislation for that?
That's for you.
I know that it's off the state purchase,
HVAC.
but
from Qualis.
it seems like it's needed to get done. So I'm just questioning that, why we have to have legislation for it.
Did you get a quote?
That's John.
John, did we get a quote, Mr. Lickman?
Well,
Did we get a quote on that?
So with that, so with the procurement policy, typically that would have gone through to committee for approval with the thresholds. But because I did not have the final quote in front of me during your committee session, Councilwoman Gentry, that's why it's sitting here.
Okay,
It's just
okay.
to go through the cursory review of everything and to make sure everybody's aware and we're all on board and questions like that get answered.
Okay, I was just curious as to why we were seeing it, that's all. Thank you.
So it's on tonight's agenda for the public to know is 25-155. This is for the HVAC rooftop unit. Is that correct, Ms. Gentry? Yes. Mr. Mayor, is there anything that you wanted to respond to?
Yeah, if I could turn over to Public Works Director Liskovic to respond to some of the concerns that Mr. Schmier has raised. They're legitimate concerns, of course. We've been in the process, at least since I started as mayor, addressing some of these issues, and it's a long-standing, we have a 50-plus-year-old building. Unfortunately, it was not as kept up maintenance-wise as well as it should have been. So we're dealing with accumulation of issues that we've been addressing since. But if I could turn it over to Mr. Liskovic, he could talk about some of the more recent things that we've been doing relative to the concerns that were brought to our attention.
Mr. Liskovic, could you help us peel the onion and take it issue by issue? Thank
Sure. And first and foremost, obviously, safety of the employees and our staff and protection of our infrastructure is always paramount. With Councilman Schmier bringing some of these things to light, obviously, as he alluded, and then my first instinct too is obviously we need to take action. With that, we convened the next day. We've already had 3 different mold mitigation contractors out. We're waiting on proposals for them. We've had 2 electrical companies out today. We've got one more coming out later this week to deal with the electrical component. We're working on a mechanical company that we've used also because what we've known and which was kind of pointed out too is we've got condensation / leak related to our boiler / chiller system that is causing these areas to become saturated and then the mold develop. And then we're also working on getting a contractor to come in and start giving us some insight onto the envelope on the eastern wall where the water intrusion was coming in and impacting our electrical equipment. So that's the preliminary start of where we're at with it, and we will keep forging forward, and as we get quotes and review them, move forward as necessary to address it and clean it up and get it back into a normal functioning condition.
Thank you. And Mr. Mayor, before Mr. Shamir and I went down in the basement to even look for the records, you had already started another program in clearing up old records that historically we did not, and according to the law, we do no longer needed to keep. Do you want to go into some detail there for the public? Because you started this in January, actually.
Sure, actually, yeah. So we hired a records clerk with the idea of going through a tremendous amount of records that we have kept in the city. In my former job, we were pretty diligent about getting records when they were due to be properly disposed. I was shocked when we got here and basically we saved everything. So the basement was full of boxes and boxes of documents, many of which by law we can get rid of. So that process is ongoing. That contributes to the issues down there. It's very crowded down there. We have removed, I think it was my first month on the job, we removed 4 truckloads of garbage. I'll call it garbage because I didn't see any practical value to any of it from the basement. And we continue to do that. So we're cleaning out the basement to even observe some of the issues that we have found. And so we're going to continue to do that. Just recently, we disposed of 200 boxes of finance records, and that will continue through all the departments. And that process is ongoing. But that will help. We also have cleaned out some of these areas of the known clutter. Actually did that. I wish Mr. Shamir would have taken some pictures after, because I done it between the times that I knew about it, that he took pictures, and the time I took care of it. But so all those are ongoing as well. We have to understand too that all of this requires resources, whether it's time or money. And I think we'll be bringing some of these up during our budget discussion, because some of the more impactful things, which, as Mr. Liskovic alluded to, are causing these repeated issues with mold, is because we have mechanical systems that are outdated and need repair, and those are generally high dollar things. So that'll be coming to consideration for budget.
Thank you. Any further questions on this? We're taking it back over to you, Ms. Gentry.
I just want to make sure that we're not doing mold abatement or any of the other work without fixing the source of the water leak.
Correct. So even both 2 of the abatement companies we had spoke to said the reality is they don't want to come in and touch anything until the leak is resolved. So again, it's a fluid process. We're getting vendors in here to go through and keep pushing forward with it.
An excavation, correct, sir?
Yeah.
That's part of it? Mr. Shamir?
Yes. The only thing I would recommend is, in the interim, before the audit is done or the mold mitigation, that people that utilizes the area, they should use PPE. I mean, depending on where and what is down there, having respiratory protection, I think, is paramount to ensuring that everyone is kept safe. Thank you.
Mr. Arnold, please.
I was just going to ask, John, did the water claim we had a year and a half ago, was any of the water in the basement due to that, or not the actual water, but any of the mold issues? Did it trickle down to the basement at all, or was that only the first floor?
Well, it did go in the basement, but it was on the other end of the building.
Okay.
And it stayed on that side of the building.
Okay.
And that was mitigated with the work that we redid.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Right. So this is something that we need to address. Anything else, Ms. Gentry?
I think that covers it.
Covers it? Okay, then we're going to go on to Mr. Shamir with Communications, Environmental, and Recreation Programming.
Yes. First of all, we have a deer culling contract, which is with the USDA, and it's going to be passage on an emergency on second reading this evening. And it's slotted. This is so that we can slot it for planning with the USDA as early as possible. So that is on emergency reading on second reading. Other issues to discuss, we have a revised ALC-TV rules and regulation that is going to be presented at the CCM next week. And that will be on 3 readings, not an emergency basis. Furthermore, we have the Parks and Rec meeting on Wednesday, September 24th at 5:30 here in this building downstairs. We also have an ongoing parks connectivity survey, which is on the city website. It is going on until September 30th. I would recommend that everybody get on that site, fill out the survey, because this will impact how the parks will be interconnected for the future to come. This is effectively a escalation of the intermodal studies that were done in the past.
And so it's a very easy application when the
Correct.
residents go onto the site.
Yes.
It walks you through it.
It
takes
is.
about, what, 2 minutes?
Maximum 5 minutes.
Back,
Yeah, maximum 5 minutes.
and we need that data by when?
September 30th. So
Okay.
September 30th is the closing date on that. Tuesday, yes. Furthermore, on the power plant side, some work has started between Verdantis, the city's environmental contractor, and Deegan and Associates. So what is still missing to be presented to council on our shared drive is historical data that was utilized by Deegan and Associates to do their phase 1 and phase 2. We've requested that information now going on 4 or 5 months, but it was stated that until there is a MOU that is signed and executed, that information would be delayed. So that has been done, and I would expect for that information to be released hopefully next week. Furthermore, with that, we've got the data gap work that is done by Verdantis to allow for the additional information that is going to be collected by Deegan and Associates. So we'd like to see that scope of work and the data gap requirements that were identified with Verdantis as soon as possible. Hopefully next week, we want to understand what is driving the additional work. So that is as far as the power plant goes. As the mayor mentioned earlier, may I get the overhead? There was an environmental release by Lubrizol, and what I'd like to say first and foremost is that the city administration did a wonderful job of response and recovery. The release occurred on Tuesday last week, and it was identified by a resident, which put in a call to the city. The city contacted Lubrizol at some point, once understanding what the issue was. But in the interim, they mobilized and started recovery of the contamination. Now, the contamination was a polyurethane, and it's called Sancure 825, if I'm not mistaken. And that is a Lubrizol product. The release itself was about 6,600 gallons of diluted material, so we don't know exactly how much was actually released. It was released into Powdermaker Creek at a stormwater discharge point outside of the power plant property. It went through the conduit and ended up onto the lake side. So again, the city, where it was not their job or a requirement for them, they did a great job of containment as much as they could and recovery. Lubrizol contacted the city and asked for the assistance. Then they called in their response company, which is the people that you see on the bottom of that photo are the response team from Lubrizol. And, there were a lot of positive things, but there were also some negative issues that really need to be addressed. The positive side was the city's response. The other side of it is the response that was mounted by Lubrizol took a little longer than it should have. And when it took place initially, what you see is the containment structure that was put in was effectively driftwood. So that is like trying to contain water in a colander, and it won't do a good job. So the water and the constituents that were in the water in the discharge extended into Lake Erie and the sediments around. And afterwards, the response team, this was when I visited the site on Wednesday afternoon, what you see is a containment structure built using fabric, plastic, some clay, and plywood, reinforced with some rebar, which is a good makeshift situation. Now, at this point, there are a few things that need to be addressed, which will be addressed by Lubrizol. It's a root cause of why this took place. From what we understand, it was human error. So a valve was opened and the release took place. The concentration of chemicals released is not known at this point in time, but that is something that will be found out during the root cause analysis. Furthermore, what needs to be looked at is what sort of controls procedurally will be put in place so that nothing like this occurs in the future. And the question that needs to be addressed separately, because that is a release issue, the other is a response issue, why it took over 24 hours for Lubrizol to mobilize containment and recovery teams to the site in a manner that the area would have been contained. Based on this, what may occur is further investigation of the sediments in that vicinity to ensure that all the chemicals have been recovered, the sediments that were impacted are cleaned to a risk level that is suitable for the use, and that is step 2. Another thing I think that the city needs to look at is with the industrial component of our community, we need to look at spill response and what spill response capacities we have in our community. Typically with the industrial sectors, they have a capacity to respond to spills, whether it be collection booms, containment booms, and recovery systems. So maybe as a community, we need to look at and audit that capacity as it exists, and then look at what is required and that in the future we won't have an issue similar to this. And that is all that I've got. If there is any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer.
Mr. Cos?
Yeah, thank you. Mr. Shamir, who's going to oversee the so Lubrizol is going to remediate this. Who oversees that to make sure that they're doing what they are supposed to do? Who's the authority that they would be reporting to that would essentially be saying, okay, you've cleaned this up to the satisfaction of what is required? Who oversees that?
Okay, there's a twofold component to this. One would be the Ohio EPA, which was notified by Lubrizol, and the other would be a city environmental consultant, a third party, to just oversee the process. Because it's one thing for Ohio EPA to look at it and utilize their resources, but it also is critical that the city has its own eyes on the project.
Mr. Cos, continue.
And as a follow-up, Lubrizol is going to assume the costs of all of this. I'm assuming that, correct?
That's correct. So we have tallied the cost of our manpower and equipment use, and we're billing back Lubrizol for that time.
Thank you.
But we felt it was important, obviously, as Mr. Shamir pointed out, to get out there and start to mitigate that process right away. So kudos to Public Works and John for taking that on. It was a big help.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Any further discussion from anyone to my right? Ms. Gentry? Oh, no, you're pointing. Mr. Smith?
Yeah, thank you. There's been some discussion about the self-reporting of Lubrizol. Was that done before or after we discovered it or our resident found it? And
we
let us
actually
know?
notified Lubrizol. Lubrizol then made the proper notifications after we told them about it.
So they did not basically self-report it?
No, we had to report, well, they found out through us. Once they found out through us, they then self-reported to the National, I want to make sure I get it right, National Response Center, which triggers the EPA, Coast Guard, all those notifications.
It would seem to me that if they lost 6,600 gallons of sand cure, diluted,
Yeah.
that they would have known that it was gone and it was missing somewhere and should have been doing something to try and find it. So I would be very leery of us not having somebody to go check over all the remediation and the like.
Mr. Mayor?
I just want to add, we did consult Verdantis, our environmental people. They're working on it with us. In fact, we had a call today with them to discuss it. So we do have our environmental professionals on board, and So as more data comes in, they'll be analyzing that.
So there's this more data coming in. This laboratory results are going to be happening. My understanding is that the Corps of Engineers and others are going to be reporting. They're going to be getting together to create a report. We will be part of that report. And as has happened tonight, it will be shared with the public. This just occurred last week. This is our first meeting that we could share it. Mr. Shamir?
Just as a follow-up to Mr. Smith's comment, so the lack of warning within their system is something that needs to be understood as a part of their root cause analysis. And that once it's done, they should be going in to put in not only alarms, but control measures so that a release cannot happen from that outlet or any other similar outlet. So that is the root cause analysis and the remedial action measures and engineering controls that will come out of it.
And if I could add, I would add that the city would add to their list of discussions with Lubrizol that they have to be prepared for a release because things happen. And instead of waiting an hour or 2 hours or how many hours it took in order to obtain the buffers, because there's actual buffers that they could have been using versus driftwood, they needed to have those other items in stock. They needed to have their response team within moments of discovery to go out to the site. So I think there's going to be more to the study, and I'm sure to the story. I'm sure that Lubrizol is going to be able to help us understand what took place and how it took place. Mr. Smith?
Yeah, well, one more comment. I know you said there's going to be some repayment of the cost associated with this from our services. I would just ask that if possible, that we also get reimbursed for the cost that roll down the road from it, which is, we have people out and then they can't come into work, and then we have overtime that's a couple days later from people responding to this, and just the whole, there's a trickle
The rolling
down
costs,
effect.
correct?
Yeah,
The rolling costs.
yeah, thank you.
Any further discussion from anybody? Yes, Mr. Arnold.
I was just wondering, I don't know if the mayor or Mr. Shamir can comment on it, but so a resident saw this happen. Do we know what the time frame was of when it actually occurred versus when the resident saw it happen? Like if it was like a few hours, a few days?
So what we understand at this point is that this may have happened about 9 a.m. It was a 1 hour release of 6,600 gallons of diluted. And then it was discovered about 12:30. So the release had already happened, the release had already stopped, and it was discovered at a later time.
Mr. Zuber.
Yeah, you may want to contact the county. They have an EMA group that can reach out and hopefully work with the city on this too. They have a response team. I don't know if Mr. Liskovic reached out to them or not.
We did not, but I just wanted to just make one point of
Yes,
clarification.
Mr. Liskovic?
The mayor had said 1 hour. It was a 1 minute release.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, just want to make sure.
Didn't mean to say hour, 1 minute release. 1 hour would have been a long
Yes.
time. 1 minute release, my apologies.
So it was a 1 minute release, and it went from a concentrate down to a diluted solution of 6,000.
It was released as diluted.
Oh, it was released as a diluted. Released diluted, because this makes it makes a big difference. Okay. Mr. Shamir, anything else? Anybody else? All right, we're going to move on. Thank you. Very involved. All right, we're going to go to Mr. Arnold with Economic Development. Any updates, sir?
Thank you. No formal report, although we did have a meeting last Monday. The topic of discussion pertaining to that meeting was the Avon Lake Economic Recovery and Resiliency Plan. And we just wanted an update with the city administration on what their plans are to utilize that. So we'll continue to talk to the city and bring that up to them over the next couple of months. Thank you.
Thank you. Any comments with the Economic Development Report? Okay, we're going to go on to Finance. Mr. Zuber?
Thank you. I have no formal report this evening. I do have an update on income tax for September. Our income tax is up 3.2% from last year, about $451,000. We do have a piece of legislation on dealing with the opium agreement for us to participate in the opiate awards coming through the state of Ohio. That's on for suspension. Our next meeting will be October 6th of the Finance Committee. I did talk to the Finance Director today a little bit to get some insights. That's
Thank
all I
you.
have. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Finance Director, will you be back on October the 6th?
No, I won't be back until that Tuesday.
So would there be someone else in your place at that meeting? Mr. Zuber's having a finance meeting October the 6th.
I don't believe that we're going to need anyone
Okay.
for the meeting. I think that there's not a whole lot of items that we have, and some of the different things are still in progress to work on some of those different things too.
Right, and the public needs to understand, this isn't deja vu. You just heard 2 weeks ago that we passed another opium settlement. There's about 11 of them that we're going to be going through. We're going to be taking advantage of every one that we can in order to collect the funds that we need to in order to prevent this, this horrible situation. Thank you. Anybody else down here? Okay, we're going to move along now to Human Resources. Mr. Smith.
Thank you. I have no formal report. We will meet in, the Human Resources will meet on October 13th before council meets. We do have one piece of legislation, which is the Civil Service Commission ordinance, which is, we've talked about several times regarding the lateral transfers and the separation of law enforcement applications due to disciplinary issues. And that's on the agenda tonight for the second reading, I believe.
Third
Let me
reading,
check and
sir.
make sure.
Third reading. Third reading.
It is second reading, isn't it?
Third.
Oh,
Third
third up
reading.
at the top. Okay. Because you guys go one, you don't do, you go 1, 2, 3, you do 3, 2, 1. You know, it's all backwards, so. Okay, yeah, third reading. And it is declaring an emergency, but obviously we haven't suspended the rule. So it will go into effect upon passage and signage by the mayor and council. Thank you.
Thank you. Any comments about Human Resources? Mr. Zuber, your hand's up.
Just that meeting will be on the 14th.
Oh, yeah.
Tuesday.
I got caught again with the
Columbus
Monday
Day.
off. Yeah, the
Columbus Day,
14th.
that's right. Okay, we're going to go on to Public Safety
Thank
and
you.
Health. Mr. Cos.
Thank you, Madam President. The Public Safety and Health Committee met on Tuesday, September the 16th, 2025. There was a number of items on the agenda. The first item that we had was a report from the Lorain County Board of Health. Our city representative, Michaela Highland, was in attendance and brought us up to speed with what the Board of Health has been up to over the summer. A couple of points of interest. They recently completed their audit as per the state law, and the Board of Health's audit came back with flying colors, so they are good to go. It's always good to know. The other item was that the Board of Health is looking at beach safety and other ways that they could make our beaches and our shorelines safer. There's been some very high-profile and unfortunate deaths and tragedies that have taken place, not just along our Lake Erie, but elsewhere. So anything that we can do to improve beach safety is always welcomed, and the Lorain County Board of Health is looking into that. Additionally, some grant opportunities were being discussed. Assistant Chief Peter and Chief Robinson were both in attendance, and they are going to reach out to Michaela on some of the things that Michaela should be looking for to bring forth to their attention as far as grant opportunities from the Lorain County Board of Health. So there's some real opportunities there. The items on the agenda that we discussed was the first item, which was an amendment to Chapter 208, the general fee schedule. And this was brought forward as a result of a change in the state law that permitted municipalities to increase the cost for police video recordings, essentially body cam videos. There has been a real surge in the requests for body cam videos, and it is a very expensive and tedious process to release those. Most of these requests are being done by residents and non-residents of the state for entertainment purposes, to put them out on, if you're familiar with all the body cam videos that are out there on YouTube, there's a ton of them. But this has hit every department in the state, and the state made some recommendations, of which the city and the committee are going to adopt the recommendations of the state. And basically what it does, it changes what the cost would be that the city could charge for this. And keep in mind, this is dealing with the amount of hours and time and money that goes into editing these, downloading these, and doing all of these different things to provide them for requests. $75 per hour of video produced, and not to exceed $750 total per video. And also raising the downloaded copies to the digital media fee from $1 to $5. Those are state recommendations, and the committee is going to adopt that language. I voted to adopt that language per the state's recommendation. We don't have this set for an agenda yet through City Council. I was advised by the Clerk of Council that there's going to be some other changes to the fee schedule forthcoming. So the idea is to kind of get all of these fee schedule changes and do them in one piece of legislation in the near future. The next item that we had on the agenda was the donation of a police vehicle from Southwest General Hospital police vehicle. They have their own police force, as many hospitals do, to the Avon Lake Police Department. This vehicle has over 123,000 miles on it. It's a 2014 Ford Explorer Police Interceptor, and it is essentially no longer roadworthy. But the donation would come to the city of Avon Lake, and the intention would be for the police department to utilize this vehicle for range training. So it has a practical use that the police department would use this for training. It will not be utilized on the road. I think that's important. So I would like to have this, the committee voted to accept that donation. I'd like to have it on the collective committee meeting, the next collective committee meeting, and then I believe it just takes a motion to accept this donation at the next council meeting after that. The next item that we had was the purchase of 2 police cars for the police department. And this is an item that is on the agenda this evening with the suspension of the rules. And before I go over the suspension of the rules, I'll go into the specifics. First off, this was a budgeted item. We do this every year. The only difference is that we normally purchase 3 vehicles per year. This time, we are looking to just purchase 2. And this would be 2 police interceptors in the amount of $90,300 total from Liberty Ford in Maple Heights. So when this was brought forward, we were not sure how long the quote would be good for. This was the first meeting of the committee since summer recess returned. So the motion was to forward it on to the collective committee meeting due to the unknown of the how long the quote would be good for. Following the meeting, it was discovered that the quote was from the summertime and that it would be recommended that we pass this sooner than later due to keep this price. Members of the committee did not object to me putting this on, and so therefore I'm asking for suspension of the rules this evening. I will say that in the past we have passed a lot of the police vehicles on first reading, and that also has a lot to do with the time it takes to get the vehicles in-house. So the sooner that we can get them here, and then also we have to pay for the outfitting as well too, and get them on the road, the better. Let's see, what else did we have? I have 2 other items that are on the agenda tonight for third reading, but I will talk about those when we get to them. And that is all I have for my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cos. Any comments by anybody? One thing I will add to your report, Mr. Cos, is that another reason why we need to move it with suspension of the rule for the purchase of the vehicles is that the manufacturer puts a cap on how many vehicles that they are going to be accepting into production and what they're going to be providing, and we don't want to be bumped by another community. We need to get in there. Okay, we're going to move on now to any other comments? We're going to move on now to Public Service, and I chair that committee. Our next meeting is going to be October the 1st at 5:30 p.m. in these chambers. Any questions? Okay. We're going to move on now to Planning Commission. Mr. Smith.
Thank you. I have nothing to report. Planning Commission meets again on October 17th. There are 2 second readings on the agenda tonight, one regarding the beacon that we saw, and then the second reading of the improvement plans for Avon Center Estates. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Smith regarding planning? Seeing none, we're going to move on to Zoning Board. Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. The next meeting is this Wednesday at 7 p.m. in these chambers.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Mayor about zoning? Seeing none, we're going to move on to Parks and Recreation. Mr. Shamir.
Yes, the next meeting of the Park and Recs Commission is on Wednesday, September 24th at 5:30 here in this building in the Engineering Conference Room.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Shamir? Any special committees, and that includes ad hoc? Mr. Arnold.
Yeah, just giving you an update. We had a short-term rental ad hoc committee meeting last Thursday. We have a draft set up on an ordinance potentially being passed here, or at least moved over to the CCM, but there needed more dialogue on a few issues, including limitations on short-term rentals, penalties on short-term rentals if they become a nuisance, things of that sort. So we're going to have another meeting on September 30th, Tuesday, September 30th at 6 o'clock here in council chambers. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to report on the Tree Commission. The next meeting is October the 8th at 6 p.m. at the old firehouse. Mr. Smith.
Yeah, I had a question for Mr. Arnold.
Oh, go right ahead, sir.
Are we going to have something in our hands before the moratorium expires?
I don't think we are, no.
Are you planning on extending the moratorium?
We can discuss it on Tuesday, but the consensus was that the moratorium would probably expire before we pass anything.
Okay, thank you.
Any further comments? All right, seeing none, we're going to go on into legislation. First is third readings. Mrs. Rossmarin, can you read by title only ordinance number 25-139?
An ordinance amending the rules of the Civil Service Commission and declaring an emergency.
Mr. Smith?
I move the third reading of ordinance number 25-139.
In discussion?
We've discussed this an awful lot. This is the the change in regard to lateral candidates and disciplinary issues that applicants have had in the past in the police department. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any further discussion from our colleagues? Seeing none, Mrs. Rossmarin, the roll.
Mr. Shamir?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Zuber?
Yes.
Mr. Arnold?
Yes.
Mrs. Fenderbosh?
Yes.
Ms. Gentry?
Yes.
Mr. Koss.
Yes.
Thank you. This is passed. Ordinance number 25-140. Mrs. Rossmarin, read by title only.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a medical direction services agreement for the Tactical Emergency Medical Services, TEMS, and related training to the Eastern Lorain County Emergency Response Team, ELCERT, comprised of the City of Avon, the City of Avon Lake, and the City of North Ridgeville, and University Hospital, and declaring an emergency.
Mr. Koss.
I move for passage of ordinance number 25-140.
And in discussion?
In discussion, as we had discussed previously, this deals with the Eastern Lorain County Emergency Response Team, otherwise known as ELCERT, made up of the cities of Avon, Avon Lake, and North Ridgeville. And when this organization was formed, when this group was formed, they had to contract with one of the local medical providers, the hospitals, facilities, and that was Cleveland. That was Metro Health. All three of the communities and their safety forces have agreed to make a change with who they are contracting with for their medical needs, and that is going to be now University Hospital. So this is reflective that they are changing it to University Hospital. It was Metro Health before, and again, this has already been passed through Avon City Council. Hopefully tonight, Avon Lake, and I think North Ridgeville is starting to move through as well too. So all three communities are moving in this direction.
Thank you, sir. Any further discussion from our colleagues? Seeing none, Mrs. Rossmarin, the roll.
Mr. Shamir?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Zuber?
Yes.
Mr. Arnold?
Yes.
Mrs. Fenderbosh?
Yes.
Ms. Gentry?
Yes.
Mr. Koss.
Yes.
Thank you. This is passed. Mrs. Rossmarin, read by title only, resolution number 25-143.
A resolution authorizing the use of an unneeded and obsolete vehicle for training purposes and subsequent sale of such vehicle for scrap.
Mr. Cos.
I move for passage of resolution number 25-143.
In discussion.
In discussion, similar to what we talked about with the donation previously, this vehicle would also be donated for, or would also be used for training purposes. This is a vehicle that the City of Avon Lake and the Avon Lake Fire Department already owns. It's a 2014 Ford Escape, and it needs a lot of work. It is no longer roadworthy. The estimates to repair and fix this vehicle are way more than what it's worth. So the decision was made from the Avon Lake Fire Department and the Safety Director, Mayor Spetzel, that this be utilized for training purposes. And when you can get an actual real vehicle to do some of the training that our police, fire, EMS can train on, it's invaluable. So it is worth more for the training purposes than any amount of small dollars you could get or the $10,000 plus that it would take to repair it. So again, this would be used for training purposes, but we have to pass this resolution basically changing the need of it to a vehicle to be used for training purposes.
Thank you, sir. Any further comments? Our colleagues? Assistant Fire Chief is here. Is there anything else that you want to add to this?
We covered it all.
Very good. The roll.
Mr. Shamir?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Zuber?
Yes.
Mr. Arnold?
Yes.
Mrs. Fenderbosh?
Yes.
Ms. Gentry?
Yes.
Mr. Koss.
Yes.
Thank you. This is passed. We're now down to second readings. Mrs. Rossmarin, read by title only, ordinance number 25-145.
An ordinance authorizing a cooperative service agreement between the City of Avon Lake and the United States Department of Agriculture Animal and Plant Health Inspection Service related to the deer management plan and declaring an emergency.
Mr. Shamir?
Yes, I move for the suspension of the council rule for 3 readings of ordinance number 25-145 and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. Mrs. Rossmarin, the roll.
Mr. Shamir?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Zuber?
Yes.
Mr. Arnold?
Yes.
Mrs. Fenderbosh?
Yes.
Ms. Gentry?
Yes.
Mr. Koss.
Yes.
Thank you. This is passed. Mr. Shamir? I move for passage.
Yes, I move for passage of ordinance number 25-145.
In discussion, sir.
Yes, this is a contract for deer culling, and it is effectively to control deer population in the city. And we need to pass this on an emergency basis in order to get us on the list and on the schedule with the USDA.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Mrs. Rossmarin, the roll.
Mr. Shamir?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Zuber?
Yes.
Mr. Arnold?
Yes.
Mrs. Fenderbosh?
Yes.
Ms. Gentry?
Yes.
Mr. Koss.
Yes.
Thank you. This is passed. Mrs. Rossmarin, read by title only, ordinance number 25-148.
An ordinance designating the red aircraft warning beacon formerly mounted atop the Avon Lake Power Plant smokestack as an historic landmark.
Mr. Smith?
Yes, this is the second reading. Mr. Tominick was here. We had a public hearing on this earlier today. I would like to thank him and the Avon Lake Historical Society for the good work that they do in the city, and we'll see this on a third reading at our next regular council meeting.
Thank you. Any further discussion from anyone? Seeing none, we're going to move on to ordinance number 25-151. Mrs. Rossmarin, read by title only.
An ordinance approving the improvement plan for Avon Center Estates Number 2, Phase 6, and declaring an emergency.
Mr. Smith?
Thank you. This is the second reading. of ordinance 25-151. This is for the improvement plan for Avon Center Estates, which is in the, basically the furthest southwest corner of the Legacy subdivision. There was some vacations that occurred in regard to this, and we're waiting, and we'll be reading it as a third reading next time, and it will be declared an emergency at that time pursuant to the terms of the ordinance. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any further discussion from anyone? Okay, saying none, we're going to go to first readings now. Mrs. Rossmarin, read resolution number 25-152.
A resolution authorizing the participation in the secondary manufacturers settlement agreements pursuant to the One Ohio Memorandum of Understanding and declaring an emergency.
Mr. Zuber.
I move for the suspension of the council rule requiring 3 readings.
Mrs. Rossmarin, the roll.
Mr. Shamir?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Zuber?
Yes.
Mr. Arnold?
Yes.
Mrs. Fenderbosh?
Yes.
Ms. Gentry?
Yes.
Mr. Koss.
Yes.
Thank you. This is passed. Mr. Zuber.
I move for passage of resolution 25-152.
In discussion.
This is us working with the state to hopefully gain some money through the opioid settlements that the states have filed against the several different manufacturers of opioids. They're listed in this particular piece of legislation, and I think the law director may have something to add also.
Yes, thank you. Yes, this is many we've had so far. There'll be money coming, there'll be some coming in the future. This needs to be passed and be sent in certified by October 8th, so that's the reason it's on tonight for a passage. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any further discussion? Seeing none, we need to have a roll.
Mr. Shamir?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Zuber?
Yes.
Mr. Arnold?
Yes.
Mrs. Fenderbosh?
Yes.
Ms. Gentry?
Yes.
Mr. Koss.
Yes.
Thank you. This is passed. Now we go on to ordinance number 25-154. Mrs. Rossmarin, read by title only.
An ordinance authorizing the purchase of 2 Ford Explorer Interceptors for the police department and declaring an emergency.
Mr. Cos?
I move to suspend the council rule requiring 3 readings.
Mrs. Rossmarin, the roll.
Mr. Shamir?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Zuber?
Yes.
Mr. Arnold?
Yes.
Mrs. Fenderbosh?
Yes.
Ms. Gentry?
Yes.
Mr. Koss.
Yes.
Thank you. This is passed. Mr. Cos?
I move for passage of ordinance number 25-154.
In discussion, sir.
In discussion, as I mentioned during my report, this came out with a 3-0 vote out of the committee. This is to purchase 2 new police vehicles from Liberty Ford in Maple Heights in the amount of $90,300.
Thank you. Any further discussion from anyone? Seeing none, Mrs. Rossmarin, the roll.
Mr. Shamir?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Zuber?
Yes.
Mr. Arnold?
Yes.
Mrs. Fenderbosh?
Yes.
Ms. Gentry?
Yes.
Mr. Koss.
Yes.
Thank you. This is passed. Now we're down to ordinance number 25-155. Mrs. Rossmarin, read by title only.
An ordinance authorizing the purchase and installation of a Train HVAC rooftop unit for the safety center and declaring an emergency.
Ms. Gentry.
I move for suspension of the rule requiring 3 readings for ordinance 25-155.
Mrs. Rossmarin, the roll.
Mr. Shamir?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Zuber?
Yes.
Mr. Arnold?
Yes.
Mrs. Fenderbosh?
Yes.
Ms. Gentry?
Yes.
Mr. Koss.
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. Gentry.
I move to pass ordinance 25-155.
In discussion.
So this is, as we mentioned earlier today, the purchase and installation of a Train HVAC rooftop. The reason it's an emergency is because they currently have no air conditioning or heat, and we need to get that installed as soon as we can.
Any further discussion from anyone? Yes, Mr. Shamir.
I was just wondering, what is the warranty period on the equipment on installation? I went through the contract. I couldn't see anything, at least quickly.
That's a good question. I'll have to go through and find it. I'll get in touch with
Thank
them
you
and get
very
back to
much.
Any further discussions? Seeing none, Mrs. Rossmarin, the roll.
Mr. Shamir?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Zuber?
Yes.
Mr. Arnold?
Yes.
Mrs. Fenderbosh?
Yes.
Ms. Gentry?
Yes.
Mr. Koss.
Yes.
Thank you. This is passed. Now we're at that point in time for miscellaneous business and announcements. And I know that Mr. Cos has something he wants to share.
Yeah, thank you, Madam President. So Boo by the Woods, Trail of Haunted Tales, Haunted Basement. Just want to put a reminder out that that event will be held on the full event. The full Halloween festival will be on October the 11th, which is a Saturday, from 4 to 9 p.m. And even though that is a sellout again, there are still many free activities that people can participate in. So we encourage people still to come on down and participate in all the free activities. There's a whole list of them on the city website. On Thursday, October the 9th, is the indoor haunted house only, the haunted library. And if you've never seen the indoor haunted library, it is definitely worth the price of admission. Tickets are available online. It is a legit haunted house. It's really, really well done, not for the faint of heart. But that is on Thursday, October the 9th. So tickets are still available for that. Thank you.
And those tickets can be purchased
Online. And we are digital this year. No more wristbands or anything like that. Tickets can be purchased online, digital. They go right into your Apple Wallet or however you do it at every other show. So it's quick, easy, and you're in and out, no problem.
Thank you. Any other miscellaneous business? Mr. Mayor?
To Mr. Schmier's question, it's a 1-year labor warranty, 1-year parts warranty, 5-year compressor warranty.
The only thing, the reason I asked is the cost of handling, shipping, of transportation involved in supplying replacements for defective components is not included, and that's what kind of, I was wondering. Anyway, that's neither here or there.
Okay, any further questions? Okay, seeing none. We have a need this evening for an executive session. And as you know, when there's an executive session, we will call out who will be involved in it. There will be no votes during that meeting nor after. And we will be reconvening back in the chambers. Mr. Cos.
Thank you. In compliance with, I move that in compliance with Ohio Revised Code Section 121.22 G1, council will adjourn to executive session to consider the discipline of a public employee.
Thank you. Included will be all elected officials, including the law director and the HR director. Of course. What about anybody else?
Oh, you want finance or not?
No, okay.
The assistant fire chief or not? Okay, that's it. Okay, it is 10 till. We need to have a roll to go into.
Mr. Shamir?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Zuber?
Yes.
Mr. Arnold?
Yes.
Mrs. Fenderbosh?
Yes.
Ms. Gentry?
Yes.
Mr. Cos?
Yes.
Thank you. This is passed. It is now 8:52. We're going to go into executive session.